Hello everyone and welcome to the 2022 Discraft presents Sun Kings Throw Down the Mountain 10. Terry Miller, the disc golf guy. We're here for round one, back nine action. We're going to pick things up as we're halfway through the course. Watching Ellen Widboom, truly the course local, if you can say such a thing here at the Grand Canyon. They're playing from a slightly shorter tee at 486 on hole number 10. Dog leg to the left, plays uphill the last 1/3 of the hole, up to this beautiful green. Here's Ellen Widboom. She's got 3 birdies. Here's Ellen Widboom. She's got 2 birdies and a single bogey so far this round.
Thanks.
She says that's a little too straight, but it looks like it'll work out just fine. Jessica Oleski coming in from Oakland, Michigan. Lisa Fajkus sits at 3 over par through the front 9. Really just with a struggle, a double bogey back on hole number 5. And rounding out our card, another Florida native, VictoriaEriacho-Paul. Back out into the fairway, so she's just trying to get to the corner here to possibly get up and down for the 4. And that's right side fairway, a little bit of trouble still. And you see the single biggest tree, probably a little bit in her way. Exactly that, unfortunately. Jessica just trying to play for position out to the... Hearing a little bit of her mentality there again, just trying to play for that position golf. There it is, right in the middle of the fairway for Victoria. We've seen quite a few backhands, very confident ones out of Ellen Widboom. And many of us are used to seeing that forehand approach or drive from her. Looks like she's really rounding out her game here in this first round. Quite the slip. And maybe lost a little bit of power due to that is Lisa Fajkus. And if you're new here...
My collarbone just popped.
Oh. Popping her collar? Oh, gosh, don't set me up for them like that. If you're new here, we're playing... This is a completely temporary course. So it's only in for a few weeks out of the year. This year, about 5 or 6 total weeks is all this course is in for. And speaking of in, great birdie there by Fajkus.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was awesome. Solid putt. Just a tad low for Jessica. And just textbook. Backhand, forehand. Short little putt for the birdie. And Ellen goes to 2 under. And quite the diverse scoring taking place. Everything from birdie to double bogey. We head over to hole 11. At the wood there actually spells out TDTM 10. For the Throw Down the Mountain 10. Par 4, 478 feet. This is a relatively soft par 4. I really feel like You should be getting a 3. You should be birdieing this all day. Unless you have a really terrible tee shot or maybe you get hung up on the approach shot. Gonna keep drifting right. It ends up fighting its way back out, but you'll see that's great position, a little forehand or maybe a backhand turnover for Fajkus from there. And if you've watched any of the MPO coverage, this is actually a tier down from where the MPOs play. It's about 100 feet longer from the MPO pad, but also up a hill or further up on the top of the hill.
Oh my goodness.
That's still a great throw.
Stupid trees getting in the way. Cut roll. She should still have a look to get up and down, hopefully to walk away with the par. And that's what I was talking about. If you come in short,
So far past that.
if you come in short off the tee, then that gap maybe a little bit more difficult to hit from long range.
Thanks.
Ellen ain't having any of that. Little too much juice for Lisa. Still very makeable for birdie. Victoria's just trying to get up and down. I like that. On the dance floor, looking at a par. And Jessica right next to the pin. She's also looking at a par. Not common to see Lisa with a miscue on the green. And even less common to see back-to-back miscues. I think just back to the previous hole where she canned one from circle too. So very surprising to see. Ellen, on the other hand, dialed. Victoria, just 17 years old. She's been playing for a couple of years. Has played what looks like just about every division and is testing the waters here in the Open. She's from Florida, and I think she
My goodness. Oh my goodness.
she doesn't like that one. This might also be the first time I think she's ever maybe been on camera. And she did admit at one point she was a little bit nervous. Lisa's going to give her a moment to collect her thoughts. This is actually for, I believe, a 5 over par at a quad bogey graphic, and unfortunately I don't have one for the next. So that's a 5-time. I believe that was a 9 overall, and Jessica will tap in for her par 4. Hopefully we'll reset as we move on. Over to hole number 12. This one was moved shorter. So there was a ton of rain that came in on Thursday. That water that you see right there wasn't there just a day or two ago. And the water that's directly behind the basket also wasn't there. In fact, that's where the basket was originally placed. They moved this about 40 or 50 feet shorter the morning of the tournament. And that was just to keep players from going to that long, deep pin in the water. And the very next hole, also, the MPO players could not go in tee from. It didn't affect the FPO players because they were teeing from on top of the shelf anyway, I believe. But, yeah, 2 holes significantly altered. Oh, I like this.
I think it's in the water. There's water over there. The water.
And to be fair, there's casual water just about everywhere.
I think yes.
Oh, nice shot. Hold off to this right-hand side. We'll see Victoria opt for the forehand. Quite serviceable. That'll work. Ellen's putter's been hot. Oh, online. In talking to our tournament director and Mr. Sun King himself, Mike Barnett, he said that Victoria has a laser-like focus on practicing and improving. So although she's still very young, he said she practices and takes it very, very seriously and is very intense out there when she's practicing. Also said that she's super nice and very serious about disc golf. So little insect finding her.
I couldn't have done it with any of the four disc by hand. Let me just put my mini down real quick.
And with that, we head on to 13.
Hello, this is Levon Wolf. I want to thank you for making the End Zone Quick Stick the #1 retriever in disc golf. The new XXL is now 4 feet longer, has a 22-foot reach, and a new folding head that's easier to carry. For the best in quality and function, use a Quick Stick.
And of course, thank you. All the kind and gracious support, Levon and Quick Stick. If you're looking for one, you saw the website. Also, check out shop.thediscgolfguy.com. If they're not on there yet, they will be soon. Proud to carry those and make those available to you guys as well. Here we are, 13.
Thank you.
And you see the iconic Homer Simpson Mando sign. Of course, players must navigate to the right of that sign. That is a great drive for Ellen. Low line drive for Jessica. If it had just a little bit of edge to it, may have gotten a skip flare out. She would have been okay with it. This looks like a pretty solid drive here by Victoria. I believe Victoria is, in fact, sponsored by Innova. If not, I'm just going to call it and say she is, and they're going to have to sponsor her now. But I believe she is, in fact, sponsored by Innova. Of course, Lisa and Ellen also sponsored by Innova, and Jessica
Not bad. Not
sponsored by MVP. As Lisa said, she'll have an open look to the basket from that left side.
Oh, overturned it.
A little too much wrist flip for Ellen.
Thank you. Ah, right? One more sawgrass.
So this is Ellen's third. And if you couldn't tell already, it is a gorgeous day. It's currently a Friday morning. It's April 1st. And an absolutely beautiful day. You would never know that it was so nasty out there just the day before. All the storms and weather. Unfortunately, weather is coming in and is very much forecasted for the next day. There's a question if Friday's first round here would even get played and what the weather was going to do. And it looks like it's holding off. It's going to do so perfectly. The real challenge will be round 2 on Saturday. And at this moment, it looks like it's in threat of not even happening. Ellen's putter doing some work today. She remains at 3 under. That is currently the hottest score in the field. And a little bit of it I've noticed here, I'm not about to give any tips, really, quite frankly, it's not my prerogative, but it seems like the mistakes I've at least noticed for Victoria is she's either been kind of on that short left side or she holds on to it too long and pulls it to the right. So I'm not sure if that's a lining up thing or if that's just a... I mean, she clearly putts with a lot of force.
Celebrate that putt.
And again, she's played plenty of disc golf. So at this point, I think it's a little bit of a more of a mental thing than it is necessarily a physical thing. But I'm sure she'll get it figured out. She's got a long career in front of her. Hole 14, what many would deem as one of the most iconic and signature holes on the course, and possibly one of the best looking holes you've ever seen in disc golf. 991 feet. It's a par 5. Played for the same as the FPO, as the MPO. And you take a significant hike up the hillside to arrive at this tee. And here's the payoff. Mid to left side, that'll work. Now that at least kicked out a little bit for her. So not too punishing.
No. Flip. A little bit.
Did you get a little love? Well, it carried through, which is very, very fortunate to carry all the way through that. She'll be on the left side, a little pinched off, but at least she'll have a little bit of room to run up, it looks like. And that kicks out as well, so some friendly trees out here in Florida. Ellen getting creative.
Hit something and be good.
And it does. Lisa calls for it. Hits the tree and stops almost immediately. And Jessica. Oh, that standstill forehand. I don't think you can argue with that. That's about as good as she could have asked for. Here's Victoria's third. Now Ellen's third. That needs to just... Oh, do pretty much that. I was going to say, if it continues just to fall into the fairway, she'll be looking good. So the last quarter of this hole plays uphill. I know where cameraman John is standing. It's just kind of a gradual incline all the way up to the pin from there. You know, for flirting with that set of sawgrass, not a bad place to be. Here's Jessica. Also, great drive.
Thank you. I'm sick of being in the trees.
Those trees can be exhausting. This time with a little bit of hyzer, Victoria finds center fairway. Great shot. Kind of an awkward stance there for Ellen. Having her back leg up as high as it was, trying to generate an even, consistent follow through and just the right amount of power. And now this is fading off to the left side, and that's going to be trouble.
That's my conservative shot, or trying to stay away from this stuff.
And I want to give a real quick thanks, not only to, of course, Discraft and Sun King for helping support and sponsor additional coverage, but also to the 3 new guys I brought along this year. Ryan, John, Dillon, all out here seeing this property for the first time. John and Dillon, 2 rounds per day out on this course, capturing the action. So big thanks to my crew. The jumper for par is off the mark. So as we're watching the par 5, which can be brutal, I'm going to see Ellen first with her attempt. That's in for the triple bogey. Fortunately, that's going to be an 8. So in watching this, here's what I want to ask you guys. You know, I always like you to like, share, subscribe to all the YouTube things. Good putt there. I want to know, what's the longest disc golf hole you've ever played? This one's at 991 feet, significantly downhill in the first couple hundred. But what's the longest disc golf hole you've ever played? Leave that in the comments. That'll make you eligible. I've got double G jerky to give away. Often I'm giving away discs. If you're a Patreon subscriber of mine, I have additional giveaways for that. But that's what I want to know. Put it in the comments. We head over to hole 15. This is a slightly shorter tee.
No.
Lisa knows that's too tight.
Smells like so weird. No. Oh, I love this hole so much. Yeah, you're in the middle now.
Just got to talk to it. That is a great looking shot, but you can actually go too far. And that little last curl, I think, will help out. But you don't want to go too far past the opening, though, because that'll pinch off the angle that you have trying to approach the green on your second shot. Let's see what Victoria can do. So Ellen opting for the backhand turnover angle, which is a little bit surprising to me. But it doesn't matter because Ellen within 20 feet of the pin. Beautiful shot, setting herself up for the birdie. A little frustration from Lisa. That is a great looking approach shot by Fajkus. I want to give a quick shout out as well, and actually a sincere thank you over at Swarm Digital. Those guys have been supporting FPO coverage. They reached out, said they'd like to support what I'm doing here for this weekend, possibly for additional events. Sounds like they do a whole bunch of great work as we're seeing Ellen cash in for the birdie. They help with websites. They do SEO, that's search engine optimization, logos, online reputation, and they support disc golf, which I think is one of the coolest things to see, especially FPO disc golf. So mention the disc golf guy and you'll receive a free consultation if you reach out to them. So thank you to the guys over at Swarm Digital Marketing. And Victoria just off the mark. Lisa taps in for the bogey. She'll go to 4 over par. And we're going to move on with this PDGA A-tier event. Hole 16, pretty straightforward, just 163 feet. It's about 50 meters for all our European friends watching. Come up too short, you have the hillside to contend with. You could also get a nasty roll away. But if you go long, you're going to be putting, well, back at that drop-off. And somehow that fights through. Jessica's not going to argue with it, though. I don't think Lisa was as thrilled as her initial response tells us. And just like that, they're calling it the shot of the day. Certainly topping the highlight reel from what we've seen. Nice park job by Victoria. And famously, Ellen Widboom said bogeys are dumb, and she is steering pretty clear of them here today. Oh, and somehow that carries this far deep. This is for par. Oh, and it continues to roll. So Lisa invokes the abandoned throw option, which of course is a PDGA rule saying that the throw she made counted, but then if she takes one penalty stroke, she can just rethrow from the previous spot there. So she effectively was putting for the 5, and that's exactly what she took when she made it. So rather than going down the hill and playing for a stroke or two to get back up, she abandoned the throw and then putt from that previous spot. You don't see that used too often.
Yeah. Hold on. Sorry. I just didn't want to get bit by them. Nice, dude.
Oh, the fire ants kicking in. Double G Jerky, thank you guys so much. As I said, I'm giving some away. Just got to tell me what the longest hole of disc golf is you've ever played on a regular course. I don't want you to say, well, I played once from hole 7's tee to hole 17's basket at my home course. I want to know what's the longest regulation hole you've played. Just as we move over here to 17, we're seeing Victoria now with the honors. 17 has OB on the left side, the entire length of the fairway. And so if you're going to bail out or play for a safe shot, anywhere over to this right side is the way to do it. So we've got 2 shots over there so far. And nothing wrong with that. Again, that's keeping it away from the left side OB. And not only is it out of bounds over there and you get penalized, there's a huge cliff that brings you all the way back down to 14's fairway. So a really errant shot could bring you a couple hundred feet away. So steer clear of that left side fairway, or OB, I should say.
Nice putt. Nice throw, yeah.
Great touch for Victoria. This event taking place same weekend as our Music City Open, a silver series on the Disc Golf Pro Tour over in Tennessee. As you can see with the beautiful setting and surroundings of this course in this facility, this is a bucket list place for players to come. And the great show that Mike Burnett and crew over at Sun King put on year after year, you can see why some opted to come to Florida instead. Nothing against Music City, but this place definitely is very special to a lot of people, including Ellen, who lives just a couple of miles down the road. Good firm putting stroke from short range there for Victoria. I had the pleasure of staying yet again with Dwayne and Susan Reeder, 2 of the most gracious and phenomenal hosts I could have all year long myself, along with the Macbeths, all staying about 30 minutes north here of the course, and Dwayne, an absolute staple in getting this course prepped and ready for this week. And they're playing from a very shortened hole 18. This lake normally is, well, not really here. Sometimes it's just nothing but mud. So we're playing to this short basket. This is a secondary tier from where the regular basket is. Usually it's up and to the right as you're looking over Victoria's head there. And at 276 uphill with an island green, it looks like our division is opting to play off to the left side and hoping to play this for the par 3 that it is.
I got a 5 on hole 17, so it's probably you. I thought you were running it for a second. Is that OB there?
And as many of you already know, additional support that comes in from Patreon for my channel is so crucial to getting extra coverage, to get to events that maybe otherwise wouldn't get covered. I want to thank all of you who support me there.
Sit. Sit. Sit.
That is a little bit deep. for Jessica. She goes up and over the basket. Still has a look at saving the par. If you wish to check out my Patreon, please consider doing so. Patreon.com/thediscgolfguy. I have it set up. It's not just a flat monthly amount. There's actually different levels you can pledge at, and you can even set a cap to it, so you can decide just how much you want to support on any given month for the content that I put out. Here's Victoria on the dance floor. Looks good. Nice gentle turnover with the forehand for Ellen.
Widboom, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am is right. Easy to be tentative when you're looking at OB directly behind the pin. Ellen's a little bit closer. She has put together a solid round trying to close it out. And the thigh slapper. All right. Ellen Widboom. Spoiler, folks. She's going to be in the lead with this 1 under par. Solid performance. Lisa and Jessica both sitting at +6 as Jessica, though, is looking at the bogey. Victoria's trying to close it out. And she makes that in front of the gallery. A little bit of a rough time on the putting green. But, again, a learning experience. And quite honestly, glad to see this young star. Could be a couple years before we hear her out there on the pro tour, cashing, winning big events. I'm glad we could see her right here on the channel. So thank you guys for tuning in and watching. That's all for round 1 at Throw It on the Mountain 10. As you take a quick look at who we see on the leaderboard. Looking forward to our second round. Again, I'm the Disc Golf Guy. We'll see you tomorrow.